6 this morning. We've been talking about this all morning long. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And in just a few hours, a special proclamation will be made to raise awareness about the issue within the Ocean State here. So joining us this morning is the Executive Director of the Women's Resource Center, Jessica Walsh. Jessica, thanks so much for waking up with us this morning.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you here because we've got to talk about what can be a taboo or touchy subject for some, but it is something that we need to be aware of in order to make a difference in. So nearly 3 in 10 women and 1 in 10 men nationally have experienced domestic violence. We want to know from you, Jessica, how prevalent is domestic violence within Rhode Island? Do you have those latest numbers?
I do. And unfortunately, in Rhode Island, nearly 1 in 2 Rhode Islanders will experience domestic violence in their lifetime, which means we all know someone who has been impacted.
That's roughly half, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what you're saying? So, tell
Yes.
us a little bit about some of the warning signs. What to look for if you believe that someone close to you may be experiencing this and maybe trying to keep it from you. How do we identify that?
So often, folks will be be in a situation where they're being controlled, right? And so their behaviors may change a little bit. They may suddenly isolate themselves or appear to be isolating themselves, right? It's actually someone else controlling that behavior. So if someone that you know is behaving differently, acting jumpy around their phone, sometimes they're being tracked or needing to respond immediately to the person that they're dating or seeing or with. I think those are some signs that you want to look out for. And we generally just tell people to listen to your gut. If your gut tells you something's not quite right about this relationship, it's always worth having that conversation and asking folks if they're okay and if there's anything you can do to help.
And you are one of the really lifesavers who helps people in these situations. Talk to us a little bit about what it is that you do, how you help people who are experiencing this, and what difference you feel that you're making for those individuals and maybe finding fulfillment yourself.
Sure. So the Women's Resource Center is a member of the Rhode Island Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and that is a network of organizations providing free and confidential services to survivors of domestic violence and their families. We provide services from counseling to emergency shelter, transitional housing, court advocacy. So, really comprehensive supports for folks that are experiencing domestic violence. And we serve the East Bay region, but no matter where you are in the state, you can access help in your local area by calling 1-800-494-8100. And that's really important for folks to know. We're here for you if you're experiencing domestic violence. And also, if you want to support a friend or a family member or a colleague, you can always reach out to us and we're happy to provide whatever supports we can. I think for us, we see survivors really transform from being fearful and experiencing constant control and violence and transforming into really powerful, empowered survivors. And that is really something that we're happy to be part of that healing journey with them.
That empowerment and really liberation can change the entire trajectory of, as you say, survivors' lives. And that's really what you're doing when you get these folks out of these situations. So I do want to urge you just briefly, if you're watching at home right now, there are ways that you can reach out for help. We have them right here. We'll get this interview in entirety on our website for you. Before we let you go, though, Jessica, tell us a little bit about today's special proclamation event and why it's so important.
Sure. So at 9:30 this morning, Mayor Cy of Newport will be joining us to read the city's proclamation recognizing Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city. We really appreciate at the Women's Resource Center that the city is using its platform to raise awareness about domestic violence because it really demonstrates Newport's commitment to preventing domestic violence and supporting survivors. We know that domestic violence can be prevented, and one way we can do that is by creating strong, connected communities that send a clear message that abuse will not be tolerated, and Newport is really doing that today.
Jessica, thank you so much. I love what you said there. Abuse in any form will not be tolerated. Again, we will have this full interview on our website for you, including some of those numbers that you saw where you can reach out for help. We'll get all of that posted for you so that you can find it anytime on our website, abc6.com.